handmade holidays with paper chains and cardboard cutout faces and handmade gifts, and the things that you can do by foraging around your house, seeing what you already have, and bringing back the nostalgia of old-fashioned holidays. We are living in an era of overconsumption where everything has to be shiny and sparkly and new, and over on TikTok I was really inspired by I'm Dave and Drew to talk about what happened to the paper crafts, what happened to the handmade holiday gifts, what happened to decorating with what you have and what you can make, the paper chains, the cardboard cutout faces. That's what we're gonna do today. I had already started filming this when she posted a TikTok, or I saw a TikTok from her talking about what happened to the holidays that are like this, and it inspired me to talk about it as well. But we're mainly going to follow or be inspired by these 1950s scrap craft books called Pack of Fun. They have a bunch of crafts in them that you can make from scraps around your house. And we are also going to look into Denison's Bogey book from 1926. This has mainly paper crepe paper crafts, streamers, tissue paper, that sort of thing. I will also hopefully be doing one of these videos for Christmas, hopefully earlier in the planning phase than this video, because this is sort of a last minute idea that I had. But if you like this sort of budget, nostalgia, vintage crafting realm, stick around, go ahead and subscribe, because I hope to bring a lot more of this to my channel. Let's get into making a nostalgic vintage Halloween.
First, I decided to make these little spooky cats based on a 1920s spooky cat, which is very iconic, but I wanted to 1950s-ify it by using felt and glitter glue. I feel like the 1950s were an iconic time for felt crafts, chenille pipe cleaner crafts, sequins, and glitter glue, so those were my main forms of craft supply. For the cats, I used 2 sheets of black felt, 1 sheet of orange felt, gold and silver glitter glue, and some little black sequins just for the eyes. I hand drew the template, but I am sure you can probably find a template for these cats somewhere online if you want to make them yourself. This was a really easy craft, and it was super fun to do. I think I might be addicted to adding glitter glue to everything for details. It was so fun. To construct the cats, once you have cut out your outlines, you are just going to glue on the mouths and the eyes. Make sure to get the little nose in there as well. Then the fun part, you are going to outline the eyes and the mouth with gold glitter glued, and don't forget to add a little bit of a slit pupil from the top down on the eyes, to which you will then add a sequin to make it look a little bit more like a scared cat eye. Then with the silver glitter glue, you can add the details of the whiskers and the puffy scared cat hair and the squiggly lines on the ears. And also, don't forget some little teeth. The glitter glue does take a full day to dry, so this is definitely a craft you want to make far ahead of time so that you have enough time to let them dry. Next, I made some little spiders, and this is a really, really easy craft for if you have little kids who want to join in. You are going to take 4 pipe cleaners and twist them together in the center. Then you are going to bend the legs up and down, and I added little tiny feet at the end. And then with some pom-poms, I made a body so that I could decorate them. I could only find little black pom-poms at the craft store. I was admittedly out kind of late searching for Halloween craft supplies, but I think a large one would work better, so I used 3 little ones. I wish I had thought ahead of time to buy more supplies before I needed them, but it is what it is when you have ADHD. Then I used some hot glue to adhere some sequins to the center of this first one, and some tacky glue to put sequins up its legs. This was pretty time consuming, but I personally really love doing this sort of craft. I love being able to just sit and listen to an audiobook and craft away to my heart's content. These were super fun and easy to make, and if you have little kids who want to join in and decorate some spiders, this is a great craft for them to just sit and decorate and make some silly little spiders. I decided to make each spider a little different, so for this one I just added some silver sequins to its knees to give it some fancy little knees. And then for another spider, I decided to dot it with some gold glitter glue to kind of give it a creepy little... They were supposed to look like eyes. I don't know if they actually do. And then I added some gold dots to its legs. Next, we're going to get into paper crafting with these cute little pumpkin guys. Now, you can use the really cheap construction paper for this if you want to, but I feel like it wouldn't hold up against the glitter glue as well. So I did purchase some really nice crafting paper for these. It was like $6 for a pack of crafting paper, and since I was using so much paper in this anyway, I didn't mind spending a little more for it. I hand drew a pumpkin template again and then just traced it around on some paper, and for this I did try to cut out multiple sheets at a time so I wasn't cutting so much, because I have to admit by this time my hand was starting to get tired of cutting and squeezing the glitter glue bottles. These, again, are a great craft for kids to join in on. Super easy to make, super easy to cut out. And then I made some little triangles for the eyes and cut those out. This only took 1 sheet of paper, and I just folded it a bunch so that I could cut them all out at once. And then I made the little gappy tooth smile as well with 1 sheet of paper. I made 6 of these, so I was able to just fold the paper over a couple of times and cut out all of the mouths that I need. You can really design the mouths and the eyes to be however you would like. I was just going with as simple as possible since I made so many paper crafts. Also, if you're looking for a really good crafting glue, I really like the Scotch brand of tacky glue. I think it dries faster and it just holds better. Then it was time to add a whole bunch of glitter glue detailing to these little guys. I outlined the mouth, the eyes, the nose, and the outline of the pumpkin with gold glitter glue. And then I added some silver detailing just to represent the little sections of the pumpkin, and he turned out pretty cute. I decided to alternate the gold glitter glue and the silver glitter glue depending on the color of my pumpkin. So for the lighter orange ones, I went with gold detailing for the outlines of the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the main pumpkin, and then silver inside. And then for the darker ones, I went with silver outlining the eyes, mouth, nose, and outline, and then gold detailing for the sections of the pumpkin. This is another craft where it will take a full day to dry, especially if you want that nice thick glitter glue detailing. So definitely make them at least a day before you need them fully dried. And before we move on, I just wanted to share the beautiful rain that has been happening, so enjoy this little rainy intermission. So the next thing that I made is some cute little witch hats, and I had already started this one to make sure that it would work the way that I thought it would. I only made 3 of these because they were a little more complicated, and I also just didn't have enough pom-poms to cover the base, but these are made out of paper plates and paper cups and some construction paper, and then whatever decorations you want. I essentially just kind of haphazardly wrapped construction paper around a paper cup and cut a base out of a paper plate, and then I glued everything on to cover up the paper entirely. For this, I used some twine that I already had and some pom-poms and some of the thrifted tulle that I have gotten. I think this is a really cute craft to just kind of forage for what you have and make it with whatever fabric scraps you might have. It is super easy and it just requires a whole lot of hot gluing, so be careful not to burn yourself. While I make these witch hats, I did want to talk a little bit about consumerism around the holidays because I think it's an important discussion to have, and as someone who has been both low income and now no longer is low income, I do think that there is a lot of nuance that people miss out on. As someone who could not afford new things for a very long time, I completely understand the feeling of finally being able to afford what I want to buy, but still wanting to keep the balance of not being overconsumptive with my purchase habits. I think especially around the holidays, it's really tempting, especially when you can afford it, to just get everything new and fall prey to the ads and just get excited about brand new things. And there is nothing wrong with wanting brand new things, especially when you have a budget. It's always really exciting to get that exact thing that you've been dreaming of for so long. But I feel like the economy has gone really, really far and hard in consumerism to the point where we almost view handmade items as trash. A lot of people are yearning for the nostalgia of the 90s holidays, and I remember the 90s holidays being so incredibly handmade. But there has always been this weird stigma around thrifting or crafting gifts for the people that you love. I think there's an inherent joy in making things by hand and receiving handmade gifts that you cannot replicate by purchasing them new. This time that I spent crafting became a way for me to spend more quality time with my kids. I am not a parent who really enjoys play, and so this is my way to spend time with my kids, let us all get our creative brains out. They are learning how to craft and how to make, and I get to talk to them about their days, and it just was so much fun to see what they came up with when they were decorating their things for Halloween. I guess those are my very chaotic thoughts around consumerism and holidays, is that making things does take time, but I feel like it's time well worth spending, and especially in the current economy when we are struggling and everyone is looking for ways to have a holiday on a budget. There's something incredibly special about making things yourself. There's a kind of love that goes into it that you really cannot replicate any other way, and I think that's important to pursue. But of course, like I keep saying, it is also all about balance. It's okay to buy new things, it's okay to get excited about new things, but it's also important to make or thrift where you can. I want to make more of an effort to handcraft as many holiday items as I can, because I think that level of love and care just cannot be replicated by buying everything that the ads throw at you. So now let's get into decorating. I wanted to mainly use paper streamers because in the Dennison's Bogey book, the majority of everything is made with paper streamers and crepe paper. So I started with the dining room window and put up the paper streamers, kind of copying the little draping that is in one of the photos in the Dennison's Bogey book. I wanted there to be so many streamers for this, so I tested it a few times to see how many was enough. I think I used probably half a roll each of the orange and the black streamers, and then I tied it up with a little bit of twine in the center and made sure it was all even, and put one of our sparkly little pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns up to decorate the center. And then I decided I needed one more detail, so I decided to make some little paper bats. I hand drew the template again. I was kind of copying the little bats that are all over the Dennison's Bogey book, but I sort of made it my own. I just started with a full page template before realizing that I was actually going to only need half of the bat. That makes it really, really easy to design. And the only spacing I was really worried about was making sure that the head and the body weren't too wide. And then layered several pieces of paper folded in half and taped them so they would be lined up nicely, and then cut out the bats. I was able to cut out 2 per page, so in total I think I made 6 at first and then ended up cutting out so many. They were the cutest craft, they were the easiest craft, they were the simplest craft, and I love them. I love them so much. I used glitter glue and silver sequins for eyes, and that was it. Just a little bat outline with some silver eyes. They ended up looking so cute and dopey, and I put them pretty much everywhere. These are another craft that would be super fun for kids to make and decorate however they wanted to. Two of my daughters saw them and demanded that I make them some bats as well, and then they decorated with them. But back to the window, I hung 2 orange streamers to tape the bats to, and copied one of the designs that I saw in the bogey book. And then it was time for the archway. This was probably the most time consuming because I had to rip a bunch of streamers in the same length so that I could decorate the archway, but it ended up looking so incredibly good. I cannot wait to share the reveal with all of you. I used both the orange and black streamers, and I want to say that each side probably took about a full thing of streamer paper. Then I taped these up to the wall and also ended up putting a push pin in them because they were a little bit too heavy just to be taped. We had thrifted this little orange pumpkin streamer, but I decided to add underneath it some more orange and black streamers to get the same kind of archway effect in the window. To make the little archway bow thing, I tied them in the middle and then put a push pin up there to hang it off of, and then I put a little glitter pumpkin up as well. And then I decided I wanted to hang streamers all across the archway to create a curtain, and this took forever, but it is super worth it. It's so worth the time spent. This is probably the most fun I've ever had decorating for a holiday, and I cannot wait to do Christmas. I loved doing this. I hung the black ones first and then put orange behind them, and then decided it needed to be extra, so I cut out a whole bunch more bats and taped them to the streamer paper curtain.
So my biggest problem is the fan. The fan light is so ugly and I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with it. I wanted to take some inspiration from these kind of like how to make chandelier type light situations, but I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work with a fan. I think maybe I'll just hang like a few tendrils of crepe paper off of them, and then, or maybe I could like hang the spiders. I have a ton of bats. I don't know, it's just, I don't like it. You know what? I actually think maybe what I will do is something similar to this. We just have to be careful not to turn it on. That would probably work. But I just, maybe, yeah, well, we'll see. I've just been thinking about it this whole time, like what am I going to do with this fan?
So this fan is directly over the table, and I didn't want anything that was going to hang too low because I planned to have candles on the table and I didn't want to catch fire to the light, obviously. However, something that I learned after this party was that these paper streamers are treated with a flame-resistant or fire-resistant coating, so they don't actually burn. I was throwing them in our fireplace afterward when I was cleaning up, and they would not catch fire. Despite being held directly to a flame, they just sort of melt slowly. But anyway, just a fun fact. I decided to hang streamers from each of the fan blades and then hang some bats off of the streamers. This ended up looking a lot cuter than I expected. I added some paper streamers to our side buffet and also the little spiders, which I had realized as I was doing all of this that I hadn't been using the spiders to decorate with, so I decided to place those on our sideboard. Then it was time for the table. Now this is the one area I did purchase a few things new, but I mostly used what I had on hand. The tablecloth is something that someone gave me a long time ago. It is so beautiful. But then I used the thrifted tulle fabric to put underneath the candles. Then I pulled out these beautiful red vintage goblets, which I have literally never used, and I've been hanging on to them for years, and I'm so glad I've kept them. And I added the little witch hats to the table. And this is where you don't see it on camera, but I was struggling with the plates. I had bought some plates off of Amazon that I thought would work out. They are charger plates though, and I did not read that in the description when I purchased them, so they were way too big for dinner plates. And the only other plates I have aside from my desert rose plates are these 1960s plates with dogwood on them. But I'm really glad I persisted in trying to figure out the decoration because I think that it did turn out really beautiful in the end. I put the charger plates underneath the regular dinner plates, and then I grabbed the napkins. I have so many cloth napkins from years of thrifting, and I had to alternate the colors because I didn't have 6 of either color of napkins. And then I used some thrifted ribbon to wrap around the napkins to make them look pretty. I think in the end the table turned out really beautiful, but it took a little bit of thinking to get there because the plates were not what I expected, and I didn't have 6 of any of the napkins that I wanted to use. And then, as you can see, I also ran out of the ribbon I was using to tie around them. But then that was it. That was the table decorations. I kept it simple because there's so much decor all over the room. We made some spooky foods. We lit our candles, and it is time to see how the party turned out. So that is it for this video, my friends. As you can see, it all turned out to be really cute. We had so much fun. I made some little mozzarella ghosts, and we made cupcakes, and we made little mummies out of hot dogs and crescent roll pastry dough. I loved doing this. I hope that you all enjoyed watching me bring back some nostalgic holiday joy, and I hope you will stick around for Christmas because I have so many more ideas for handcrafted holidays. As always, I hope that wherever you are feeling safe and loved, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!